After a long week of hard work and stressful living, what do? What do you do? I can tell you what God did. Good morning. Today is day one of this week's lesson in which we learn the value of what God did for us in terms of rest after his sixth day of creation. Our key text for this week's is found in Genesis 2, verse 3. It's the New King James Version. And it says, "Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." And again, that's found in Genesis 2, verse 3, the New King James Version. The title of this week's lesson is The Rhythms of Rest. Now, can you imagine what the acts of creation look like? God created light in the midst of darkness. He created oceans bursting with life, and he created the heavens with the birds suddenly taking flight. What must it have been like to view this marvelous and wonderful sight? And then there was the supernatural creation of Adam and Eve. What must it have been like? I can't even begin to comprehend how God did this or what it must have looked like. But then, after all this creative process of active creating, what did God do? He turned his attention to something else. At first glance, it may have seemed not as spectacular as the leaping whales and the dazzling birds flying in the air. But God simply made a day, the seventh day, and then he declared it special. Even before we humans would dash off on our own self-induced stressful lives, God set a marker as a living memory aid to remind us to rest. God wanted this day to be a time for us to stop, to pause, and deliberately enjoy life. He wanted it to be a day to be and not to do. He wanted it to be a day to celebrate the gift of grass, air, wildlife, water, people, and most of all, he wanted it to be a day that we can connect with the creator of every good and perfect gift. He wanted us to connect with him, the God of the universe. This invitation would continue even after the first couple was put out of Eden. God wanted to make sure that this weekly standing invitation to meet with him and rest could stand forever. So right from the very beginning, he knitted into the very fabric of time itself. So what I ask you today is to join us this week as we study God's marvelous invitation to repeatedly enter his dynamic rest every seventh day. Now, if you would like to review a copy of the lesson, you can obtain it at ssnet.org. That is ssnet.org. All you got to do is click on Adult SS and select Weekly Lesson. Now, stay tuned tomorrow as we learn of God's prelude to rest. And you have a blessed and wonderful day.